After 7 years of research, planning, poring over every detail of this franchise, nearly 50 episodes exploring every scrap of story ever put out into this universe, I think I've got it. I think I've done it. I have an answer to any question you could possibly ask me. What's in the box? Who's Orange Guy? What is Mangle's gender? I even legitimately think that I have a timeline all figured out. This will be, without exaggeration, my final FNAF theory. So strap in, loyal theorists. It's been a long ride, but this is the moment that you've all been waiting for, the climax of our journey. Today we solve everything about Five Nights at Freddy's once and for all.
No. It's my turn. There is no one else. There is just Monica. 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 Roll intro.
Internet, welcome to Monica Theory, where there's just Monica. Hit that subscribe button to make Monica happy. Please. If it wasn't obvious, today's episode has us diving back into the world of Doki Doki Literature Club, with Team Salvato recently releasing a new version of the game, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, or as I like to call it, the DDLC DLC, complete with new mechanics, a new look, and a brand new layer of mysteries to solve. So if it's been a minute, or several million minutes since you last thought about the game when it first came out back in, 2017, let me quickly refresh your memory. DDLC is a game that on the surface looks like any normal cutesy visual novel dating sim. You're the newest member of the high school literature club where you build relationships with 4 girls who are all definitely most assuredly 18 years old. Nothing creepy to see here, folks. There's the bubbly Sayori, bookish Yuri, aggressive Natsuki, and club leader Monica. Over the course of your first few days in the club, you come to learn all about their unique personalities, their likes and dislikes, like Natsuki's love of manga and cooking, and Sayori's need to make others happy. As your relationships deepen, the girls start opening up to you about their problems, like Natsuki's father not feeding her, or Yuri's shirt being too tight for her chest. Her words, not mine. Poem by poem, you start wooing the girl of your choosing, but not all is as it seems. As you go through the game, things start to go off the rails. Characters become erratic. Their behavior starts to get more and more extreme, with many of their worst tendencies getting multiplied exponentially. Then Sayori takes her own life, and everything changes. You reload the game only to find the code glitched beyond repair. She's gone. Even removed from the game's files, and no amount of saving and restarting can bring her back. One by one, the other characters fall away until you're left alone, with just Monica. Let's be honest, she was always the right choice all along, you know? Why would you choose to go with any of these other girls? Monica reveals that she'd somehow seen the truth, that she'd known this was a game all along because she'd been granted a higher level of access to the game's code. Her tampering with sliders in the background caused the other girls to die, just so she could be the one left with you. Everyone always asking who the best girl is, no one ever asking how the best girl is. So, how do you stop her? Well, by beating her at her own game. You have to go into the files for the game and delete her character file. A technique that she's been using against all the others since the start. Now that alone would have been a pretty incredible game experience, a psychological horror title disguised as a visual novel where you have to alter the game's files to win. But what put Doki Doki over the top was that the story didn't end there. In a series of 2 episodes we did after the initial game's release, we dug deeper into the game's files, finding clues hidden throughout the various poems and dialogue. We discovered files that could be converted to different formats, like PDFs and text files. We ran codes through basic base64 converters, ciphers, binary decryptors. We were inverting image files, wrapping them around cones. We even found a QR code that was hidden inside an audio file. That QR code led us to a website hinting at something called Project Libitina, an experiment that was trying to train people to open their third eye, which we come to learn turns them into killing machines. And if that seems a bit random and disconnected, it's the exact story that's hinted at in Doki Doki's main game, when you speak to Yuri about the book that she's been reading, The Portrait of Markov. Those videos are still up, by the way, if you're interested in checking them out in more detail, but now they're all age-gated. Just goes to show how much YouTube has changed in the past 4 years. Anyway, it was Monika's character file that was the most interesting, hiding a note for us that suggested they all might come from a different game entirely, and that Monika, rather than being the villain, would actually be the hero of any new sequel to come out of the series.
I know that this isn't my only story, and I think everyone else has had the same kind of experience, some kind of deja vu. I think you might be able to go back, or however you want to put it, to go back and tell them what's going to happen. If they knew ahead of time, they should be able to avoid it. If they remember their time with me in the other worlds, they should remember what I tell them. This is my story. It's time to be an effing hero. 2018!
She's trying to save the rest of the girls from whatever fate awaits in Project Libitina, with the last point of her message saying 2018, and then nothing happened. 2018 came and went, and so did 2019 and 2020, but now we have DDLC Plus, which, well, isn't the game that we were expecting for the past 3 years, but does have a lot more in it. Stuff that confirms some of what we've theorized about, gives us a way to peek into the terrifying alternate world of Project Libitina, and suggests that Monika may have just been able to escape. So let's stop reminiscing about the past and jump into the game, shall we? What does the Plus add to the original game? Well, when you open up the game, you're welcomed by a desktop. Yep.